Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're watching from. I'm ThatSpaceDogeGuy, and welcome to another live stream of the launch of the Electron rocket launching Daughter of the Stars live from Māhia, Peninsula, New Zealand. We are covering the live stream of the launch again after just a few weeks ago, I believe, was the previous launch of Electron from pad B, actually, from pad 1B. Here are the commentators from for Rocket Lab today, Kim Thompson and James Rattray. Now, we're not going to listen to them until post liftoff, so I'm going to be here for the next 20 or so minutes to cover you through the launch phases. Now, I will be setting the countdown up, so give me a second. And while we get that done, hold on. Okay, I think we got it done now. There it is. The countdown is up. 19 minutes, 25 seconds until the launch. It's going to be very exciting again because we're back with Electron launch again. This time for ESA, the Celeste mission launch 1. So this is going to be very, very cool. I will be doing some stuff real quickly. I will be also listening into the coverage if there's anything interesting popping up. Here's a video from ESA.
The first two Celeste demonstrator satellites are ready to launch aboard a Rocket Lab Electron rocket from New Zealand, heading into low Earth orbit at an altitude of around 500 kilometers. This launch will mark Europe's first venture into low Earth orbit for satellite navigation and the first opportunity to demonstrate its benefits for future navigation services. The first satellites are compact CubeSats built across Europe by ESA's industrial partners, GMV and Thales Alenia Space. They've been built, tested and qualified in under 2 years and are now ready for their journey to orbit.
The Celeste mission will be the augmentation of European GNSS, introducing a new layer on low Earth orbit. It will address three main pillars. On one end, it will be augmentation of the current Galileo and EGNOS, providing faster and stronger signals. It will also provide resilience and robustness through the introduction of additional frequencies, but also innovative and system as service concepts, like, for instance, supporting indoor navigation.
The objective of the Celeste IOD is to pave the way for a future constellation of navigation satellites in LEO, and to that end we need satellites that are scalable. They need to be capable to be manufactured at a large scale at a low cost, and so the size of the satellite needs to be pretty low. And so one of the main challenges that we have is to pack a wide array of technologies within such a small element. We do have to demonstrate a number of technologies that includes an autonomous orbit determination and there's a capability to transmit in different frequency bands. And the objective ultimately is to demonstrate the service with a wide range of users on the ground.
Celeste is the first initiative of Europe for LEO PNT, positioning, navigation and timing for low Earth orbit, supporting previous initiatives from European Union, Galileo and EGNOS. This is bringing the demonstration of new resilient capabilities for navigation in the future. And this satellite is the first step in a long journey that will bring navigation in Europe stronger and more resilient.
These first two Celeste demonstrator satellites will broadcast navigation signals in L-band and S-band and operate in orbit for at least 6 months. More advanced satellites will follow, testing additional signals and services until all demonstrator satellites are in orbit. By flying closer to Earth, low Earth orbit satellites can deliver stronger signals and greater diversity of applications. Celeste will test navigation where it is needed most, in cities, challenging environments and regions where today's systems struggle. It will also explore how navigation can work with future communication technologies, including 5G and 6G. Celeste will help elevate the future of Europe's satellite navigation capabilities. Celeste, enhancing resilience to tomorrow's navigation.
And that was a video from ESA, the European Space Agency. Big shout out to them. Copyright for them, of course. And of course, their partners. And we're back. We're back with the Electron rocket with 15 minutes to go. Celeste's gonna ride to space on Electron in just less than 15 minutes. Which is scheduled for 9:14 a.m. UTC. Not sure why it says 9:11 a.m. UTC. That is not supposed to happen. There we go. We have it. And here's the mission control room. And here you see who's who in the mission control room. And this is the main mission control teams. This is what people know, I think. Here you can see who everyone is. We're soon going to listen into their coverage here, so I'll be quiet for a little bit until pre-launch. So enjoy their commentary, which will be turned on soon.
Finally, in the back row, we have our New Zealand Space Agency representative, Launch Safety Officer, or LSO, our Launch Director, Julia, ComOps, who's our Information and Communication Specialist, and then finally, our Executive Team representative for this launch.
Now, each station is about to proceed onward with launch preparations or no-go if a delay is needed. With a clean run through the poll, that will mean that we're ready to move ahead with the count and into the final 10 minutes or so before liftoff. The go, no-go poll should begin right at T-minus 12 minutes, so let's listen in to Mission Control now.
Okay, well, we still have some 20 seconds left until the go, no-go poll. Now, if everything's go, that will mark ready for launch. If not, then there will be probably a hold later on or at that point. But we're just gonna listen in. Here we go.
To all operators, LD and mission code. We are proceeding now with the go no-go sequence, starting with stage.
Stages go.
Avionics.
Avionics is go.
GNC.
GNC is go.
Recon.
Econ is go.
T1.
T1 is go.
GC.
GC is go.
PLS.
PLS is go.
RSO.
RSO is go.
MET.
MET is go.
MM. MM is go. LSO.
LSO is go.
LD sub. LD sub is go. The go no-go sequence is complete. We are currently T-minus 11 minutes and 3 seconds and counting. We are go for terminal auto sequence at T-minus 10 minutes. From this time, the 3-way procedure is in effect.
Fantastic news out of Mission Control for the Daughter of the Stars. The launch team is cleared to proceed in the final few minutes of the countdown before Electron's flight computer begins the auto sequence for liftoff. Now, a reminder, our launch time today remains 22:14 local New Zealand time or 09:14 UTC. For our European viewers, that's 10:14 AM CET, and then across the United States, we'll be lifting off at 5:14 AM Eastern or 2:14 AM Pacific.
Now we have a 1-hour launch window today for this mission. Electron's launch is scheduled for right at the top of that window, with backup opportunities through to 19 minutes past the following hour, in case we do need to try again for any reason.
As the countdown continues, here's more about the Electron rocket launching today's Celeste mission. Electron is the world's most frequently launched small lift rocket, flying from its dedicated launch pads both here in New Zealand and on the United States' eastern shore. Now, across its 2 stages, kick stage and payload fairing, Electron stands about 18 metres tall, and when it's fully loaded with its liquid oxygen and kerosene propellants, the vehicle weighs 13,000 kilograms. Both stages burn through the entirety of its propellant in less than 10 minutes of flight before the kick stage that's connected to ESA's satellites is released to complete payload deployment for the mission.
The majority of the vehicle is made from carbon composite material, which is why Electron has that sleek black look. The strength-to-mass ratio of carbon composite is particularly beneficial for small rockets like Electron, which was the world's first carbon composite rocket to reach space when it made its debut almost 9 years ago. Another world-first technology on Electron is its Rutherford engines, each one of them made with 3D printing and powered by batteries. There are 9 of these engines at the bottom of the first stage and a 10th engine on the second stage, with some slight modifications for the vacuum conditions of space. Within its kick stage platform on top of the second stage is another one of our 3D printed engines. This one is called Curie. It powers the kick stage and attached payload to achieve the target orbit with an accuracy of within mere meters.
And this mission will be our 85th launch overall and 6th for this year off the back of Electron's busiest year yet in 2025, deploying missions that built constellations monitoring disasters, connected devices around the world, supported national security and defence with hypersonic flight tests, and delivered satellites to space for international space agencies like today's mission. Here's a little bit more about ways that our Electron rocket delivers access to space for everyone.
One of the advantages to having a dedicated mission with Rocket Lab is everything is tailored to your needs as a customer. Instead of going on a rideshare mission where your priorities might take a back seat to other customers, you are in the driver's seat of your mission. The difference between booking a dedicated launch with Rocket Lab and booking a rideshare service on a larger rocket is basically like the difference between taking the bus and taking a black car service. We can put you exactly where you want to be in orbit so that you can start operations on day one. So you might not need to include a large propulsion system on your satellite in order to orbit raise or phase change. We use the kick stage for precise orbital insertion, so we can put you exactly where you want to go. If you need to show results from your satellite, whether that's proving technology or showing value to investors, you really need to be able to turn that around very quickly. And if you're going with a dedicated option, we can guarantee that for you. With Rocket Lab having 2 launch pads and 132 launch opportunities approved per year, it really changes the game for the amount of flexibility that we're able to offer for customers. You're never going to be forced in a position that puts your satellite at risk. We've had so many instances of a customer processing at the launch site and encountering an issue that they need to look into further, and we say, no problem, we will pivot to the next customer. We'll get them going. You guys stay here, keep working, and then once you're ready, we'll put you on the pad as soon as you're good to go. That's the kind of flexibility that basically no other launch provider in this industry can offer. It's amazing to see that in less than 10 years, we're knocking on the door of 100 launches, and it's great to be able to help guide our customers through a process that has been proven over that amount of time and with that amount of heritage. You just don't see that in this industry that often, where you've got a provider that's able to execute so quickly and reliably. The best feeling in the world as a mission manager is when you get to tell tell your customer here we've successfully deployed you in orbit.
Payload deployed.
It's been almost 9 years since Electron's first launch back in 2017, and it's been incredible to be part of some of those important missions that make up our history. Now, with this 85th rocket on the pad, ready for launch, we're only a few minutes away from adding another fantastic mission to the list of Electron's achievements.
Now, it's a big deal for us at Rocket Lab to be launching for the European Space Agency, but this mission is also just as big a deal for the agency themselves. Let's hear from the Director General of ESA, Dr. Josef Aschbacher.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted you can join us today to witness the inaugural launch of the Celeste mission aboard Electron, operated by Rocket Lab. Satellite navigation has become essential to our daily lives. Here in Europe, Galileo and EGNOS are a true success story, powering everything from our smartphones to critical infrastructure. But we can go further. We can make these systems even more robust, more resilient, and capable of so much more. Celeste will demonstrate how a complementary layer in low Earth orbit can enhance Europe's current medium Earth orbit navigation system, delivering stronger signals, new frequency bands, and entirely new services. And this mission doesn't stand alone. Celeste will help shape the future evolution of Europe's satellite navigation capabilities and inform the development of the European Union's own LEO navigation layer. It also contributes to one of the three core pillars of ESA's new European Resilience from Space initiative, endorsed at CM25, which lays the foundations for Europe's future strategic space capabilities. Last year, we celebrated 30 years of satellite navigation at the European Space Agency, a journey that gave rise to Galileo and EGNOS and established Europe as a global leader in this field. Today, with Celeste, we take the next step in shaping its future. Good luck, Celeste, and have a very safe flight.
It's been a pleasure working with the ESA team throughout this campaign, and we wish you all the best in commissioning your spacecraft.
All right, T-minus 2 minutes and 48 seconds. We are just moments away. Standing by now for auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes. Here we go. Let's listen into that countdown now.
To all operators, we are go for auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes. LDs go for launch.
Well, it looks like we're going for launch at this point. And I'm back as well, so final minutes before the launch of the Electron rocket, launching Daughter of the Stars at 9:14 a.m. UTC, 10:14 a.m. CET, which is Central European Time. Anyway, let's listen in as well now. Here we go.
Vehicle is fully on internal power. AFTS is green and enabled for flight.
Looks like complete. The system is in recirculation. Anti-geyser ring is disabled. Stage 1 and Stage 2 tanks are pressed. High flow engine purge enabled.
T-minus 20 seconds and counting. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stage 1 propulsion nominal.
A beautiful nighttime launch of Electron from LC-1, and there goes the Daughter of the Stars on her way to orbit for the Leo PNT constellation and ESA for the very first time. Now, Electron's flight computer will soon command the engines to throttle back in preparation to pass through max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure, that moment in flight when the pressures against the rocket are at their peak as it climbs through the atmosphere.
Approaching max Q. Cleared max Q.
And there it is, that's max Q cleared by Electron as it continues to orbit. The 9 Rutherford engines at the bottom of Electron's first stage are keeping that mission on track, now at more than 2,500 kilometres an hour, well above 20 kilometres in altitude.
In about a minute's time, we're expecting to see those engines power down completely to allow for a quick series of events across the vehicle's first and second stages. Engine shutdown is called MECO, or main engine cutoff, and it happens just a couple of seconds before the second stage is released along its flight path to allow for a clean separation of the stages.
Then the single Rutherford engine on the second stage ignites to continue along that trajectory and build up enough velocity to achieve orbit. 3 events coming up in quick succession, so let's check back in with the operators for confirmation.
"15 seconds to staging. Entered burnout detect mode.
MECO confirmed.
Stage separation confirmed.
Stage 2 ignition confirmed.
Nicely done by Electron. As you've just heard, that was MECO, stage separation, and second stage ignition for Daughter of the Stars. Electron's speed and altitude are looking nominal as we approach fairing separation, when the nose cone covering the IOD-1 and 2 spacecraft will split in half and leave the vehicle.
Fairing jettison confirmed.
A nominal separation of the fairing for Electron, and for the first time, ESA's 2 satellites for its Celeste mission are exposed to space. All up, the flight time for the second stage is about 6.5 minutes to achieve orbital insertion. Now, we've got a couple of minutes between now and our next milestone event for the second stage, called the battery hot swap, scheduled to take place at around T plus 6 minutes and 32 seconds. Otherwise, everything is looking nominal across Electron's performance, which you can track by our speed and altitude dials in the top right-hand side of your screen.
Stage 2 propulsion holding nominal.
All right, a minute to go before our next milestone event for the second stage, the battery hot swap. Now, our propulsion system uses batteries to feed propellant into the Rutherford engines. And since the second stage engine burn lasts longer than the first, it starts with several battery packs to power its electric pumps. But as that engine burn continues after the first packs are drained, carrying dead batteries is inefficient.
Yeah, so stage 2 propulsion system instead switches to the newer battery packs for its power source and gets rid of the old ones without interrupting the engine. That is why we call it the battery hot swap, and you can sometimes see the old battery packs on your screen as they're dropped from the vehicle. So keep an eye out for that moment around T plus 6 minutes and 32 seconds while we listen in to mission control at the same time.
Guidance is nominal, 200 seconds remaining.
HVP discharge holding nominal, approaching hot swap in roughly 30 seconds.
Throttling down.
Battery jettison confirmed.
Beautifully done there with both the visual and comms confirmation that battery hot swap was successful for Electron's second stage engine. This fresh pack will power the vehicle for another 2.5 minutes while we continue to increase our velocity. Then the second stage will separate from the kick stage that's carrying the ESA satellites, sending it on its way to reach orbit and completing the first phase of the mission for Daughter of the Stars.
HVP discharge holding nominal.
The second stage operations are complete. Electron's kick stage is released into a nominal transfer orbit, which is exactly where we expect to be. Now, this transfer orbit is typically elliptical, which means that our lowest point and highest point are actually different. So, to reach the mission's desired final circular orbit, the kick stage actually needs to maneuver ESA's satellites into position. But first, we need to reach that nominal transfer orbit following separation from the second stage, which is coming up in about a minute.
Yes, what we'll see there is Electron complete the same actions for the second stage as it did with the first. Instead of MECO, though, we'll have SECO on the second stage. The Rutherford engine will shut down before separation of the kick stage from the second stage puts it into that nominal transfer orbit we just talked about. It's another quick sequence of events, just 4 seconds or so in total, and it's scheduled to take place at T plus 9 minutes, so let's listen in.
Entered burnout detect mode. Guidance is in terminal, 20 seconds remaining.
SECO confirmed.
Stage separation confirmed. Nominal transfer orbit achieved.
Excellent work there by Electron. That's SECO and kick stage separation confirmed, with ESA's satellites off and on their way soon to begin their mission. Just under 10 minutes work on your screens there, but months of work by the ESA and Rocket Lab teams coming together for this monumental launch.
Now, before we reach payload deployment on this mission, the kick stage's journey around Earth takes about 40 minutes or so before it's in the right place to deploy ESA's satellites. During this time, we're out of ground station coverage for the most part, so we're going to take a break in the broadcast for now, but we'll be back to see out the final moments of the launch before the Celeste mission begins for ESA with payload deployment. Join us again soon.
Just coming to step into coverage here. They said they will be back on the live shortly, but if you want to watch their official coverage, go to the Rocket Lab YouTube channels. I will be ending the stream here for today. That's gonna be it for me. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back not later today, which was expected, but since yesterday there was a scrub of the Spectrum rocket, so that's been delayed until who knows when. So that's gonna be it for me today. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.